All right, peace be to you all. Assalamualaikum. Omar here. I wanted to talk briefly about mass shootings in conjunction with politics and mental health, and how it relates to those of us who are in the healthcare field. So I think according to one statistic, there's been 39 mass shootings in the U.S. since 2023. And keep in mind, we're only in April, so the fourth month of the new year. We've already had 39 mass shootings. One definition I read about that described mass shooting described it as if it's 4 or more people who are victims of the shooting, then it's considered a mass shooting. So maybe that standard has been decreased, and maybe that's why now we have so many mass shootings. I'll have to look into that. But my concern was really the cause of mass shootings. So it's a disease in our country. It's not unique to our country, but I think the number of mass shootings that we have is unique to the U.S. And there's a number of reasons for that. We see this big argument back and forth. I guess the so-called left and the so-called right, that it's the Republicans' fault. No, it's the Democrats' fault. It's the liberals' fault. It's the conservatives' fault. I don't know the answer to these things. I try to stay in my lane, which is healthcare. In the past few weeks, I've just seen the patients in the practice where I work. I have spoken to a number of patients who have either been victims of gun violence, or they have lost somebody, either a friend or family, to gun violence, and that in itself is being a victim to gun violence. So there's a different demographic, of course, that we see with mass shootings. It's usually a white male, usually armed with a semi-automatic weapon, and it's not racism. That's just the demographic that in which we happen to see this. In the inner city where I work in Ward 8 of DC, which is I think the most violent ward in terms of gun violence or death due to gun violence. It's usually a black young male who's doing the shooting. And this is statistics. Again, this is not racist. It's just what the numbers show. I've had a gun pulled on me. That wasn't fun. And all of those videos I watched about the training, and you step to one side and you grab the assailant's wrist, and then you do a judo flip, and a wrist lock, and disarm him. It doesn't. It didn't work for me anyway. I used all my athletic ability to dive behind a car. It's wasn't maybe the bravest thing for me to do, but I am here, and I was trying to stop this guy from shooting somebody else, and I was on my way to work of all things. And thank God the person who this young man shot at is lived. So I've had a personal interaction with gun violence. One of the things that I notice is that mental health is seldom, if ever, discussed when it comes to gun violence in relation to young black men in the inner city. Whereas if you have young white men engaged in mass shooting, it's provided he's not Muslim. It's usually, what was wrong with this young man? Oh, his parents were divorced? Was he bipolar? Did he have depression? I remember one sheriff, I think it was a sheriff, who famously said at this one mass shooting at this nail salon, this young man, in response to why this young white guy shot up a nail salon, I think it was last year. He said, well, he's having a bad day. It's like, my God, all of us have bad days. We don't go shooting up places. But I just noticed that with relation, the lack of addressing mental health in, when it comes to gun violence with young black men in the inner city. It's usually they're just seen as bad guys and they need to be, arrested or even some have called for their execution. Now, I've interviewed these guys. I did my medical training at a hospital called DC General, and it's closed now. It's now, it was bulldozed, and it's now a set of luxury condos in DC. But we did a lot of good work there. We clinicians and students, we saved a lot of lives. But I would talk to those guys, and I asked one, what are you guys doing out there? Because it was so, young guys were coming in shot literally every day, and the brother was like, banging doc, there's a war going on. It's like, what the heck? What are you guys talking about? You don't own one square foot of Southeast Anacostia. You're killing each other over nothing. But a lot of these guys had mental health issues. A lot of them were suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. You name it. A lot of these guys had it. Whereas, and nobody, I never heard that addressed by the media. Unlike, young white guys doing mass shootings, killing as many people as possible, people who they don't even know. At least in the black guys' defense, can't really defend, I'm not going to defend gun violence, but these guys actually knew the people. Oftentimes, they knew the people that they were shooting. It was small turf wars, if you could call them that. And just silly beefs that these guys had with each other. But in the cases of mass shootings, I don't know what the cause is. As a clinician, my first reaction is to always diagnose and try to find out the etiology of a disease or a diseased state. So I wonder, what is the etiology of these things? Some would argue that we have too many guns. We have what I would call fairly restrictive gun laws in DC. Now I think there is a push by some to be able to carry their concealed gun on metro stations. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but people are scared. People they want to be able to defend themselves against people who do the shooting. A potential shooter. So we'll see what the politicians say and how they vote. I'd like to see more done about mental health. I think it was Nashville. I believe it was a trans man, if I'm not mistaken, went in and shot up a school and killed some children and some staff members there. That's another issue. As a physician assistant in DC, I have to take 2 credits in LGBTQI plus medicine or healthcare in order to be able to renew my medical license. So we've got to know a little bit about what are some of the mental health issues that they may deal with, and some of the general health issues that community may deal with. And it's not one homogenous community. Is made up of individuals. That's a whole nother video that I may do. I don't know the solution to these mass shootings. Maybe some of you all have got more efficacious solutions than me. I see a lot of doctors get interviewed. They don't always have solutions either. They don't live in the neighborhoods. A lot of them don't live in the neighborhoods where the mass shootings are. You hear the birds outside of my car. We used to have quite a few shootings in this neighborhood where I live now. But there's been a lot of gentrification going on. I wish I could say that a lot of the people have changed in terms of the homies changed what was in their heart. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of them have been moved out. I mean, it's same thing as in Southeast. A lot of those guys have been moved out of that neighborhood. The people who are actively engaged in shooting. But there's a difference in demographics and the type of shootings that we're seeing. I don't know if getting rid of all of the guns is the solution. I don't think so. And I don't think trying to enact more stringent screening processes on people who are otherwise law-abiding citizens is the solution either. And then I don't think screening against all people who've got mental health issues is the problem. Is the solution. Suppose you're just a depressed person, but it's under control with medication. Do you have the right? Are you going to be denied your Second Amendment right of owning a gun because of that? If you check some little box that says, well, I do have depression. You can't get a gun. I don't know if that's the solution either. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. That's it for now. If you're interested in becoming a physician assistant like myself, please feel free to reach out to me. You can shadow me in the office where I work, see some patients with me, and learn some good stuff, how to help people and save lives. I wish you guys the best of success in your positive endeavors. Take care. Peace.